how do you keep jealousy and envious in check?
I think in general, with every emotion, the biggest thing is accepting how you feel. Like, no matter what it is, accept that, yes, you are currently feeling this way, but then how do you work on that?
And I think we always say this in a lot of our episodes, it's the mindset. The mindset is the strongest thing, right? If you work on your mindset, it's one, accepting the fact of what's happening, but then two, appreciating that fact, because you have to go through what it is first and then realizing what's happened for you to go, okay, let's avoid this from here on.
Yeah, well, I think mindset in this sense is more like knowing that just because one person's succeeding or someone's able to get this, just because they are doesn't make you any less of a person or successful. Like, you need to know that you have your own journey and you are able to get to where you want to get to in your own timeline. That's the biggest mindset in this case, and it's specific for jealousy and envy. Focus on yourself, but also realize just because someone else has something doesn't mean that you're a failure or you haven't succeeded or you aren't able to get to a certain point, which is where it leads into this. I think she's another podcaster or author. Her name is Mel Robbin, and she explained as the reason why envy or jealousy can become bad is when this person thinks that there's only a certain amount of happiness that you can give out in the world. So you feel like this person is now happy because they've got a promotion, or this person's like happy because they've got a new bag that you couldn't get. But she questioned, she's like, why do you feel like there's only certain amounts of happiness? Like, you can feel happy too, and you can get to these places as well.
You wouldn't think that feeling jealous or feeling envious would be that deep.
I think it makes sense. Like, to me, it's like the same thing as what we're saying. You wouldn't put someone else down just because they've got a promotion. Like, you should be happy for them, and like, especially if it's like a friend or a colleague that you've known for a long time, like, just because they got promoted instead of you, you wouldn't automatically flip the switch and be like, oh, now I hate you because you're now my manager. You would be happy for that person. So I think that's what she's trying to explain, is the happiness can go around all around the world. Just because they've got something doesn't mean that they're the only people that are allowed to be happy. You can be too. Yeah,
and that's a really good point, right? Is spreading that love and appreciating that others can do well too. Not just, you know what I mean? And you can too, right? If you just focus on yourself and work on yourself, you can achieve the same things as them too.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is you have your own timeline. Just because someone has a timeline that may have accelerated faster than you and they're in the same industry or they're doing the same thing as you, doesn't mean that you won't be successful or you don't have a good timeline projected for you. It's just that your story is different. Like, everyone has a different story, and how that story unfolds is unique to each and every person. Yeah. Very, very powerful words. I know. I should be a motivational speaker on TED Talk or something. Yeah. Nah, well, one can only dream.